Hey y'all, it's your girl Sia, and I'm back with another video. Y'all, bear with me as I discuss what's been going on. So I'm actually really don't know how to, really perceive the things that been experiencing. Today I walked into work and it was a normal day for me, and I got pulled to the side to have a conversation with my boss and the tax manager, who apparently was planning on. I don't know that it's firing me necessarily, but what I was told is that the overall agenda today was to pay me a paper check, right? And send me on my way, kind of deal. So give me a check, give me a week and a half of vacay, and then pay me like 3 weeks worth of pay type shit, right? And for me, um, oh, and I was told that that was done to get me to go away. That was the plan this morning. Obviously that plan fell through, um but we'll get into that. I was told that that's what the plan was. Now, I did not argue with my boss. I listened to him. I let him speak because ultimately I am a lot more mature than I think people want to give me credit for sometimes. And in my mind, I know damn well that I did nothing wrong, right? To be fired. And if you think that 3 weeks worth of pay, first of all, that ain't shit. So if that was what he thought would make me go away, that's definitely not the answer. So as he's talking, I'm listening to him, right? And I just kind of, again, I don't have an attitude that I don't know. Like I say, I don't know how to perceive a lot of what was said, right? And a lot of what was done. But that was the agenda today, right? That was the plan, I guess. And what's so crazy about this so-called quote unquote plan is that I'm pretty sure half of the group was fully aware that this conversation was going to happen, right? So that means that all day yesterday, these folks knew that this was the conversation that was being had. Okay. I did not. Now, the reason this issue bothers me is because if you guys can imagine, I'm the only black girl in my place of business, the only black woman that exists in that company. Okay. And I say that because there's no one there to protect me as a black woman. Right. And so naturally, I was pulled into the office and we're talking, yada, yada, yada. And my boss has a way of trying to steer the conversation into a positive conversation. So I didn't know that the conversation was the part, like, was going to lead into, hey, well, our plan was to fire you. But it wasn't the words fire. Again, it was, I'm going to give you a week and a half vacation and then 3 weeks pay and then hope that you just get out of my hair type shit. That tells me that you're not doing shit right. That's number fucking one. Because I don't recall ever getting fired from a job and that was the kind of conversation that was had, right? But whatever. I didn't say anything because I know better, right? I know, and it wasn't that um I know better in the sense that if I say something, I'm gonna lose my job. No. I know damn well that wouldn't have been enough to get me to go away. We would have been having a whole nother conversation in a different time and space, right? Um, and so that was, very strange. Okay. But keep in mind, the dialogue that we're having is a very positive dialogue. It's not a negative dialogue. Again, it was the conversation, if I was to get loud and get disrespectful and mean, let's put it this way, there would have been no excuse. And I think the intent behind everything that I experienced this morning was with the hopes that I would blow up and be like, you know what, fuck you guys, I'm out type shit, right? but I really don't care. Like, I care, but not enough. I think they're just having a hard time understanding that I really don't give a fuck, right? So in that aspect, I've made it like I didn't have anything to really argue with or get loud with about. But as we're having this conversation, obviously one of the conversations that came up was my attitude and the fact that I have a attitude, right? And I'm looking and I'm thinking, and like I told him and everyone else, right, is I'm not the only one with attitude, right? Everybody on my team has an attitude. When I go to them and I need a status of a return, my team then in turn disrespects me, right? They roll their eyes at me, they suck their teeth at me, they don't want to give me an answer. They'd rather go to Yuli, right? They'd rather and sorry y'all, but they would rather not give me what I need to do my job, to make my job 10 times harder than it needs to be, right? One thing that my boss was saying is that, hey, we use this communication for legal purposes. I don't think he realizes I'm fully aware of that. So whenever I put something in that communication space where it is for legal purposes, it's for a reason, right? And I understand that what I say may come across a little bit petty, but when I've asked a person for information that I need about 5 times and all I'm getting back is attitude and all this extra shit, what else am I supposed to do? All I know is to document everything. Okay? That's it. So I'm documenting regardless of how petty or small it seems. If I'm talking to you and you're ignoring me, that's a problem, right? Because we're in a work setting, right? This should be a workspace that is positive for the most part for everyone who works there, right? So the conversation of, I get that, hey, we don't want these notes in this space. We rather you just get up and walk over to that person. Well, unfortunately, I've been put in positions where I don't feel comfortable walking over to people, right? Every time I go to them for a status, they got an issue with the fact that I'm asking them a question. It is my job. That is what I get paid to do. It's not like I'm overstepping, right? My job is to ask questions. My job is to learn, right? And so, or excuse me, to ask questions and to give clients a status, right, of whatever, their returns or whatever. I work with all men. So the fact that every man in there has an attitude when I'm asking them, it's my job to do something, right? So if my job, what I'm hired to do means asking tax preparers and developing a rapport with the preparers to learn what's going on with the client's return, that's my job. So I express to them, anytime I get up and I ask a question, I'm always being met with attitude. It doesn't matter if we're in a meeting, right? I could be the sweetest pie. I'm still going to be met with grunts, attitude, eye rolls, right? So some of this we got to take accountability for, right? The conversation has to be in balance. And that's something that I made it very clear. If you're going to fire me, you got to be able to have this conversation in balance, right? If you're claiming that I have an attitude, why is it that this man yelled at me? So you're telling me that as he's raising his voice, I'm not allowed to check him or correct him? Do you understand what I'm saying? When people are disrespecting me, that means that because really what's happening is you got grown ass white men that are going to the owner telling him that I got an attitude. Okay. They're not telling their portion of things as to what started that attitude and or what brought on that attitude. That's a problem. If you yell at me when I'm asking you a question, I'm not yelling at you. I'm not being disrespectful to you. What do you think that's going to cause? Attitude, right? Let's keep it 1,000. If I come to you and I'm like, hey, what's going on with such and such and such, as that is my job to do, and you meet me with a level of hostility that I didn't ask for, that okay, so I'm not allowed to have emotions and, feel some type of way because you treated me a certain type of way. Now, what I explained to the owner, I said, just because I don't come and tell you everything, I'm noticing blacks and whites are completely different. I don't tell on people. I feel like unless it's something that is dire, right? Or I can't control it anymore type shit. Like I gotta get it out. I am not the employee that's gonna go around telling on all the employees, right? Because that's not my job, right? I'm there to do my job. I'm there to get paid. That's it. So for me, what I'm used to is when adults have a problem amongst adults, you talk about it. Adults come together and talk about it. You don't go to Sally and Sue and talk about me to everybody and their mama, but you can't come address the person with the that you claim you have an issue with. To me, that's some bitch shit. Okay. And I'm sorry for cursing, but that is what that is. That is very weak minded, Karen and Ken bullshit. If I've got an issue with you, I'm going to come to you directly and try to solve it first and foremost. So let's say, for instance, I feel like you got an attitude. Could it have been a miscommunication? Could I possibly have perceived you incorrectly? Yes. But you don't fucking know that until you have the fucking conversation. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I made it very clear. This man yelled at me and all this, and this is the levels of conversation that are being had because this happens all the time. Just because I don't have those with I don't go to the owner and be like, so and so made me feel this way, right? Doesn't mean that it's not fucking happening. Right? So when you approach me about my attitude, ensure that this conversation is being had in balance because everybody's attitude, in my opinion, I've watched everyone have a negative attitude in this office. I've been here for a year and a half. I can pinpoint every scenario where every single person had an attitude and or disrespected a colleague of theirs because they were upset. The fuck? But because I'm the black girl and you haven't figured me out yet, it's easy to single me out and be like, you know what? You're the problem. Okay, cool. You can think that way all you want to, but I also know that that's not a legal reason of firing. I'm not doing anything wrong because you don't mesh with my attitude. Then that's on you. The fuck? So obviously, I'm not talking to him like this, right? We're having a really good conversation. It went back and forth like we were having a good conversation. What I told him was, I said, listen, not only in addition to balance, but I think some of this is on y'all and your personal biases that you may have towards black people, because this is the truth. I said, anytime I shut my door, y'all treat me as if like I'm not allowed to shut my door. I got an office. I got a door to my office. Why wouldn't I be able to shut my door? Right? That's crazy to me. And the owner was like, oh, wow. Like, y'all know I've already talked about all the shit that I feel on this channel, right? The owner goes, oh, wow. And he starts talking. I said, part of the reason why I have my door shut, I said, y'all know, I don't know if y'all know, but I get cold very easy, right? So in the morning times, it's fucking freezing. Right? I would much rather turn on my heater and shut my door to allow my office space to heat up than to be wearing a coat just to appease y'all and y'all's fucking emotions. Like, let's keep it a buck. So the owner says, oh, wow, I never even thought that, you're right. You do have a heater. I would have never thought that part of your door being closed was because you had a heater. That's because you never motherfucking asked. You talked about me to everybody else but me, the person that you got the issue with. You never fucking asked. I told my the tax manager. I said, how many times have I told you guys if my door is shut to come in anyway? How many times have I told you guys that? Don't fucking knock, walk in. Right? So your perceived biases, that's a fucking bias that I should never have been held responsible for. Assuming makes an ass out of you and me. So while you sitting here having a conversation about how you was going to pay me to just go away, motherfucker, you was going to have to pay me a lot more than that. 3 weeks of vacay? Like, that tells me what you think of me, homie. Do you understand where my train of thought is right now? So I'm sitting here and I'm like, so my attitude, okay, granted, we all have attitudes. I've watched it happen. I've had to check it happening. And y'all talking to me about how you was gonna let me go because of my attitude, as if I am the only person with attitude in this place of work. Now, my frustration, like I told him, comes in when you guys don't follow your own fucking roles, right? You say you want to communicate, I'm communicating, and you ignore me. Like, again, I made it very clear. I think it's because I'm a woman, and I think it's because I'm black, the experiences that I've been having in this space. Oh, what I would disagree, I would like to say that it's not about you being a woman. Did it? Yes, the fuck this is. Yes, the fuck it was. Because if I was a male, we wouldn't even be having this conversation, right? Talking about because my door is shut, you think that that's a reason to attach some emotion to me that I never took on. I never said existed. So what my boss said is, oh yeah, well, I could see how if I walk past your door, see, because I assume that when your door is shut, you're angry. So how many fucking people did you have that conversation with before it came to me? How many people? You know, because it's not like I can't feel it. I'm fully aware of the things that have happened. So the day he said good morning to every single person, walked past my door, did not say good morning to me, moved over to the next office and said good morning to that person, it starts from the top fucking down. He says, "Oh, well, I could imagine how me not saying you good morning to you could lead into your day and your mental psyche and all." Duh. What person would not acknowledge the fact that you said good morning to everybody? You spoke to everybody but me. If that's not exclusion, I don't know what is, bro. I don't know what fucking is. And then on top of that, I don't even know why you're acting like that because you own the fucking building. So how did you not walk in and ask me about my day? How did you not walk in and say, "Hey, how's your day going? Good morning." If you're trying to determine my temperature, why wouldn't you start it off with a goddamn conversation? But to treat me like I ain't shit, the fuck? Because my door is fucking shut, bro? Because you haven't figured me out yet? Y'all, listen, I wish I would have recorded that entire fucking conversation. I wish I would have. So now I got the owner admitting that, yeah, I did X, Y, and Z because I assumed that when your door is shut, you just want to be left alone. My door could be shut because I got a client that I need to speak to, right? That's what I'm hired for. My door could be shut because I need to be able to focus and I don't need 20 people coming in and out of my office all day, right? My door could be shut because I'm trying to trap the heat in my office instead of being cold in my office. But no, all of these other reasons could be for what they are. But the natural assumption was I'm angry. I want to be left alone. So don't bother me. Really? If that's how I felt every morning, I wouldn't even show up. That sounds like a very miserable place to be. And to assume that I'm a certain way, so you assumed it. You didn't ask me. That's even worse. So the fact that I was even having a conversation about being let go, it was all mishandled and misguided. And again, the conversation was very respectful because there was no need for any other thing. But it's like, bro, I'm showing you just how much you do not impact me. Like, yes, I'm frustrated now because all of the shit I've been saying for the last year, right? These words that I'm defensive, I'm aggressive, and I called him out on that shit. I finally let him know. You're calling me defensive. I said, just so you're aware, I don't hear that all the time. So the fact that I hear it more here, yeah, that kind of bothers me. It kind of rubs me the wrong way. I think that you're misunderstanding me, and the goal is to misunderstand me. I don't believe that the goal is really to understand me. You want me to understand everybody in this fucking establishment and cater to all the different personalities. But what about my personality, right? What about me? But I'm the only black girl. You see what I'm saying? I'm the only black woman there. So it's easy to say you're the problem. It's easy to say that. It's so easy to say that. Instead of acknowledging that I'm a human being just like you are. He talking about how he likes my daughter and da-da-da. You don't even know my daughter's name. How many times has my daughter ridden in his car by herself? You don't even know my daughter's name. My daughter can repeat your name, but you talking about, oh, what's her name? What's her name? So how are y'all friends, right? How is she your buddy? Like, let's keep it 100. You can't even remember the little girl's name. The fuck? It tells you just how much this company thinks of me. And today I had to leave. After that conversation, I tried to stay. Mentally, I tried, right? I was able to talk to a few friends. I tried. And then I said, you know what? I need to go home. Let me process this. Let me deal with it on my own, in my own space where I'm comfortable, so that I can get my head back in the game, because ultimately I need an income, right? And unfortunately, I have to settle for this experience that I'm having. So how do I do that, right? Knowing that every last one of you, you're trying to convince me you got my back, but all the actions say otherwise. You were ready. This man was prepared to not fire me, but send me on a long vacation. That, that's cool. Send me on a long vacation in hopes that he'll get rid of me. What kind of what kind of person do you think I am? Do you think I'm that naive? Like, I know that I show you that I may be a little bit dumb, but I keep telling you guys, my biggest superpower is being underestimated. So y'all, I mean, in my mind, I'm looking at him like, yeah, that wasn't going to be enough to get me to go away. If anything, I would have became a thorn in your side, right? Because the things that you're doing, the things that you're saying, the way in which you've treated me, I could have sworn all of this has legal repercussions to it as long as I can prove it. So I came into work in the morning, everybody thinking I'm getting fired. Or, excuse me, not fired, sent on a long vacation. That's what everybody thought. So when we were having meetings, people were making their smirks, right? Excited. I'm still here, bitches. You know what I mean? But now I've got to really sit with the fact that the owner admitted to me that he made an assumption. He also admitted that his assumption is like a domino effect. It has impacts. It has negative consequences on people, right? So if that's how you maneuver as an owner, that says a lot to me. And I get the fact that he's able to acknowledge it, but he had no other choice. The fuck? You sitting here, he had no other choice. So in that acknowledgement, like I told him, I'm glad you guys heard me. I appreciate the fact that you guys listened. I wasn't interrupted. Nothing. They listened with full on ears, like wanting to hear what I had to say. I appreciate that. But now that I know that everything that I've been thinking about this company from day one is correct and valid, what does that say about the people I work with? Because if it ain't me, then it must be you, right? You see what I'm saying? So as a Black woman, I don't know how to handle this. I've never experienced this. I've never experienced it. It's like I've been saying that you are this way for so long, and all I could do was speculate and pick and pinpoint and think, and possibly that was the case. And then only for the owner to be like, yup, you know what? We probably didn't do a good job at that. Like attitude. You can call me out on my attitude all day, but until everybody else's attitude getting checked, I am no different than them. Skin color, I don't know. Maybe race, sex, I don't fucking know. But what I do know is I've had grown men in this position talk to me crazy and yell at me and disrespect me. So naturally, anybody. I'm a woman. I'm not a man, right? So when I have a man yelling at me because he's not happy with something that ain't got shit to do with me, what do you think I'm gonna do? Do you think I'm gonna just be out with everybody hanging out? Or if I feel like everything I say is intentionally misunderstood, what do you think I'm gonna do? Like I told him, I feel like I'm having to walk on eggshells, right? It ain't really about everybody else because, see, what everybody else isn't used to is working with a black woman. That's what the fuck it is, or a black person, period. It ain't about me trying to get used to them, it's them getting used to me. And I'm sorry that the conversation keeps being repeated in my direction. The problem is you're dealing with a bunch of racist ass fucking white people. So when whites and Mexicans have never hung out with blacks, they don't know how blacks act. They think we're everything that you see on TV. This is what you get. So now anything I say that may rub them the wrong way, even though it's not my intention to rub them the wrong way, they're going to come and tell on me to you so that you feel like, to make it seem like I'm somebody I'm really not. And you were about to fire me based upon rumors without having that dialogue based upon assumptions that were wrong. Like, I'm livid. Like, I am livid. And I think I'm more livid because I can't fucking walk away, bro. I can't. So I've been really doing some research, man. I've been doing some digging on, just racial microaggressions, stuff like that, right? I'm not happy. And I shouldn't have had to deal with what I dealt with. So that's all I got to say on the matter, y'all. I'm out. Peace.